Okay.
We have with us another young Indian as part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Apurva Ashish. Let's hear from her. Over to you, Apurva.
Thank you, sir. So before I begin, I would like to thank sir for this opportunity. And yes, before I begin with telling my experience, just want to give a short introduction. So hello, everyone. My name is Apurva. And currently, I am an incoming Embrace PhD student at Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona. And would like to share some of the learnings from my journey into economics and what are the challenges I faced from my transition from literature to economics. So to begin with, how I got introduced or interested in economics to begin with. Um, After my board exams, I got good percentage, and like every other parents or relatives, they said that I should take up science because it's very lucrative and has more opportunities. However, I loved writing poetry and storytelling since a kid, so I said I would like to take humanities and explore more into literature, history, and philosophy. So till my high school, I did arts and HSC board, which is in Maharashtra. And after that, in my undergraduation, I had an option of choosing which areas you can take, like 3 subjects. So I chose political science, history, and economics. Still, economics was not in my mind that I have to major in that. It was just one of the subjects I'm interested in. And at that time, I didn't take literature because by that time, like after my 12th, I realized that though I am passionate about writing storytelling, but it is not as that I'm not that passionate about it to make it as a career. So I was more interested into political science, history, and slowly and steadily, after my first year, I had the fortune of having a very good professor in economics. And while I was studying, I also used to go to the library and read some books. Of course, the mathematical concepts I could not understand since I didn't take any math in my high school because I didn't plan on doing any of those things later. So, of course, I would be frank, and I read one of the books of Raghuram Rajan, and I could just understand what he wanted to say in terms of the concepts. But when I came to the page of like derivatives and integration and all the other concepts of real analysis, I was dumbfounded. Like, I'm not doing this for sure. But later I started going deeper into it. And in my second year, we had to take a decision of which area you are interested. And at that point, I realized that it was a toss up between political science and economics for me. So my inclination was to choose economics. The only reason was one of the conversations I had with one of the professors in our department. And during that, I realized that if I want to make any social impact, which I could not have done by taking English literature for sure from my side. And and I was also exposed to the developmental work by some of our professors from Mumbai University, like Professor Neeraj Hatekar. And I was deeply influenced by all these developmental economists at that time. And I made up my mind at that time that, okay, even if it takes quants to do and other things, I don't mind doing economics, and I'll be really happy doing it. So in my third year, I did entire like BA in economics. So that was the first time I got exposed to econometrics and all the other things. However, in my BA, I then went on to do my master's, but still, I believe that I did not have the quantitative background you require when you want to do any serious research. So even after my MA, I did do some parts of quantitative subjects like time series and some more into statistical foundations. However, when I decided that I want to do a PhD, and I went through the course and curriculum of all the maths camp, and I was like, I'm not prepared. So during my research assistantship, I took up some courses from IIT, like the distance learning. I started studying on my own too, because there's a time when you also have to help yourself. So I was fortunate enough to have my seniors and my friends when it comes to material or sharing what I should do. So that was pretty helpful. And after my research assistantship, I decided that I want to do a PhD. However, I feel that the level of master which I had done in India was probably needed a bridge like between the PhD course anywhere in India or even abroad. So I did my MSc in economics again, and I must say that was definitely a life-changing experience for me. And I'm happy I took that decision.
Where did you do your MSc?
Yeah, I did my MSc in Barcelona School of Economics. That was from 2022 to 2023. So that was again a very different experience for me. And coming from a background which was different from my peers. So many of my peers, they already had their quant background. Some of them were engineers. So it was a good 1 year where I got to brush up all the concepts, all the application of math. And again, I had the fortune of having really good and supportive seniors who were very helpful. And that was a time when I also got exposed to more of microeconomics in the campus, and especially the teaching assistants. I don't know, somehow all of them were doing their PhD in microeconomic theory or applied micro. So again, I was very influenced by the impact that any good research can have. So in Barcelona school again, we had professors who, even after the lectures, they used to talk to us about the areas we're interested in researching. And for me, they used to give me feedbacks on how I should think more in terms of doing serious research, or where I lack in terms of quantitative background, or where I should work on. So I got this 1 year again to work on myself, work on the things which I didn't learn, and be open to again new ideas. So one of the important tips which one of my seniors gave me was that even if you are in your PhD program, in your first and second year, have an open mind. Even if you are interested in one area, it's great to have it in the back of your mind. But while you are in the program, have an open mind, learn from different areas, from macro, from finance, trade, because that helps you to gather your thoughts, synergize it. And even when you're researching, it helps to, I would say, corroborate on how you see yourself as a researcher. So it makes you more broad-minded. And I feel that's something I would also want to share, that is to have an open mind in your first year and your second year too. And another advice I got was, which I felt was very relevant, is having interest other than economics while you're doing economics. And for the first time, I felt a bit strange, like, why was this advice given to me? But many of the students, by the time they are in their third year, they feel kind of frustrated, like, because all the time we are either TAing or doing research. So some of them suggested to take up like a hobby, or if you're already playing some instrument, or if you love theater or music, just taking some time out of your busy schedule, and doing things you love to do other than economics. And it actually has a positive impact, which I also got to know, that it helps you to be more productive in your work, and you're not wasting your time. I think
No.
you're just adding to your say, personality and adding value to your life. So that was another important thing I feel, and I'm going to follow it to some
So
extent.
what did you pick up?
So I love playing the piano. So even when I was in Barcelona, I got few chances to keep up playing the piano, and it did help me a lot. Of course, I wouldn't say it helped me to lead a more balanced lifestyle, but still, when I was not doing any of the projects or on a weekend, I used to just play the piano. So it made me feel quite refreshed. Or going on a walk, stroll, or hike. It
But okay,
is not a waste
can
of
I
time,
ask
but it's
what kind of music on the piano?
sure. I didn't do any formal exams or training of piano, but I usually love playing jazz pieces on piano or just semi-classical on
Mhm.
piano. Sorry, you're on mute.
Yeah, how did you pick it up? These jazz
Uh,
pieces from YouTube?
uh, yes, actually, I was doing a class when I was in my undergrad. I was learning piano, but
Yeah,
I was not in favor of giving like formal exams. So
yeah.
whatever I used to discuss with my music sir, we used to come on a conclusion. Okay, we do this today. We do some piece of Yanni today.
Hmm.
So that kind of helped me even during my undergraduation.
Mhm.
Though I had a lot more time, but I felt the free time I used to still love playing piano back in my undergrad days.
Yeah. Okay. And do they have a grand piano here in Barcelona, or what kind of piano are you playing on?
Actually, in the university, we didn't have any. So one of the places I used to go, I go for meditation there. They have like a grand piano.
Yeah.
So I play there.
Wow, that's really something, I'm happy to hear. And I fully agree with you that people doing serious studies should have a hobby. Okay. Because it helps you keep your mind, what should I say, fully charged. Otherwise, the battery goes downhill very fast. Okay, good. So you've been playing piano. What else? Please continue.
So that was in terms of piano or hobby, or actually, I got more aware about it when I came here. Because back at home or in Mumbai, I was more of like a borderline workaholic and trying to making plans to leave all the hobbies and putting it on a back burner. But when I came here, I realized that, I mean, there are serious researchers in my university who do really good work, and they are as committed TAs or whatever you say. But I realize that they are living like balanced as much as they can, of course, how your schedule permits.
Mm,
But
mm,
at least that attempt is being made to live like a life, which is, of course, as researchers, it is our responsibility to create an impact and do our best, but not at the cost of losing all the happiness and getting into like
mm,
depression. So that was one thing I observed from all the people I interacted.
mm.
And that changed my thought that this is like, it's like a marathon, just not like 100 meter and then you give up. It
Yeah.
just goes on for 5 years. And even after 5 years, if you
Mm.
want to still be passionate or have the twinkle in your eyes when you're talking about economics, you yourself should be happy. So
Okay.
that's what I observed. And I feel I'm going to follow that to a great extent.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So what next? What's on your mind now? What are you going to do? Please continue.
Sure. Now, in terms of research interest, I got exposed to applied micro when I came here. And thinking about what I would be passionate on researching is the field or the areas where applied micro or networks can be used, which is again developmental work, and that includes labor and gender to to a great extent. And that's what I am interested or looking at. Again, I was very lucky to have two of my professors uh, who were teaching me applied micro in my last semester in at BSc. And they did some really good work on using the tools or econometric tools for researching on the impact of paternity leave, or in general, how the changing laws, does it have an impact on childcare? In the sense, are men becoming more involved into the childcare process and parenting? So different areas of research also. uh, we have a professor who teaches networks over here, and he has also some work in connecting networks to developmental work in Indonesia or Vietnam. And that also includes talking to sociologists, historians. So this is the area I'm looking into, and I'm actually interested because when I chose economics, my aim was that the research should create a social impact.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the degree. The degree has no value for me if it fails to create any sort of like impact. It's a 5-year commitment you give, and
Yeah.
not for some name or something. It's something which should make us happy at the end of the day when I look that, okay, it made some sense to me and to others too. So I still stick to my stand that the only reason I chose economics was the impact. We hear a lot of things when why economics, and today there's a lot of discourse on economics is really nice because it's lucrative and it's more fancy. But I feel any subject, when you choose, the reason or the rationale cannot be fancy or something
Mhm.
which is famous. I mean, we have biotechnology, we have chemistry. So just like that, economics is one of the social sciences or sciences.
Yeah.
And because today I get some queries from undergraduates, and the reason that they tell me that they want to choose economics is because everyone is taking it, and it's very like you have Nobel laureates, and we have very big names and heading at IMF. However, I tell them that if you look at others and choose economics, probably you might get bored of it and might want to leave it.
Yeah.
So that cannot be like a reason. I agree with in order to be sensitive to other backgrounds, yes, financial security and yeah, stability is important. So if that is a reason for someone to take economics, I agree with that. If
Mhm.
your background or permits that, yeah, okay, this is my necessity right now, so it's fine. But when you have an option and you equally like some other um, area too, but it just because it's not fancy, you probably choose not to take it and take economics. So that can lead to some discontentment in the future because everyone else is
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's very good. I mean, you have really shared your experience and your insights, and I'm sure it'll help younger people who may watch this at some point in the future. Um, okay, I usually don't ask any questions, but I will ask you this one. Okay.
Sure.
How was it to go from Mumbai to Barcelona? I mean, the local culture, the food, the people, the entertainment, and probably your classmates are not just from Spain, probably they are from many countries, right? So how was
Yes.
this adjustment? And did you enjoy the adjustment? What did it do to you? That's what I want to ask.
So I wouldn't lie, but I was in the beginning, I was a bit overwhelmed in the sense how it's going to pan out, more of like anxiety before boarding my flight from Bombay and landing in Barcelona. And for me, I think the main issue was probably language, because since I hadn't planned to apply at Barcelona school, I didn't even bother to learn Spanish. Just in the few last months, I think I picked up some bit of it. So my concern was like, how will I survive talking in English
Yeah.
in a Spanish world? So I think to begin with, I had terrible Spanish. It was really bad, I think. But I still survived bits and parts of when it comes to language. However, adjustment in terms of, as you were saying, culture and the food. For food, it wasn't much of a problem because I cooked at home, being a vegetarian. So I cooked a lot of it at home. But I enjoy their cuisine as well. I mean, the only options are usually pizza or pasta for a vegetarian, but it's still good. And it was nice when it comes to classmates too. And I think that's one point I missed while talking is I had friends from different countries, like from China to Turkey to other parts of other countries in the European Union. And somehow I feel during my interaction with them and working in groups, especially for projects and problem sets, it did shape my or change my views on a lot of things. And I learned a lot from my classmates. And as a unit, we are very close knit. So the sensitivity or the respect which we develop for other cultures, that happened when I came to Spain in terms of understanding the other culture and knowing their thoughts on what's behind or what goes behind the political economy or the ecosystem over there. And one of them, I remember in one of our projects for micro, we had to pick a paper for replicating the results and using another software for the same, like using non-parametric tools. And the country or thing, the paper we chose was on the Chinese political economics. And the people whom I was working with, they were all from China for that particular project. So what I realized is I was just replicating and writing down the interpretation. But what's really happening in the system, how it works, how they try to lure the young people, or what are the problems? I think that we only learn when we interact with them. We understand, this is how it is and how they find a way in the system or how it works. So that again broadened my horizon, and it was a fun experience too.
Okay. All right. And all the classes are in English, I take it.
Yes, yes, all in English.
All in English. All right. So it is quite an international place, but it's not cold, right? Versus Spain is not a cold country. It's not like the horrors of North Europe, right? It's warm and
No,
pleasant, right?
it's warm and pleasant. Absolutely. There is no, I mean, cold in the sense of like actually when you're freezing and you need like
Mm,
gloves and all. Nothing
no.
of that sort.
Okay, wonderful. So how do you go? How do you get around? Do you have a bicycle or you walk or what's going on? I just want to know what life is like for a student in Barcelona.
Sure. We have an option of cycling, but the problem was I was staying too close to the campus. So I wanted to burn my calories, so I preferred walking. But you can take a cycle too. Like some of them, they stayed a little far away from the campus. So to be honest, here, all the professors, however old they are, they prefer to take their cycles. And the one of the professors, he had finished his PhD in US at that time, and then he shifted to Europe. So the first thing he said was like, I love walking. So when I came to Europe, I started walking again.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice, right? Okay. Anything else
Right.
you want to add at this point?
I think, in the sense, one thing I would like to say, not from the point of view of being very preachy, but just from my experience, is if anyone or if people nowadays think about doing their doctoral studies, which is a great idea, but before giving that a thought, find a reason why you want to do it, in a sense that it's a long commitment and there are a lot of challenges even in those 5 years. So if you're planning to choose any university or not just the faculty, I agree the faculty and the research excellence is important, but how good is the ecosystem? Like, how does it treat its students? Because it's a 5-year commitment, and if you are completely upset after the first year and you're unhappy with the department, it's a waste of time and money, the application cost. So I would say to target those universities which not only has your research interest and good faculty, but how good it is, and find avenues uh, in within the university or department. And the second point is knowing your background and how it does it match with the university's expectation. That's another point. And the last thing I would say is not just doing the doctoral or taking up doctoral studies just because there are a lot of people doing it or applying for it. I think um, because if even if you apply on or even get into the program, it also requires some bit. So in the first 2 years, we have a lot of compulsory subjects and
Yeah.
which no one can escape. But after the 2 years, we're all on our own, and every day is writing something or creating a new equation and then again going back to it. So it's a lot of ups and downs and going back. And it's a creative process, I feel. Uh, I agree there's a lot of math, but it is also creative because you have to think out of the box. And in those times, if you have like I would say a good support system within the department and good relations with your colleagues, that really helps in the process. So doing it with complete thought and that this is the right university for you and you really want to do it, then I think it's a great idea. And otherwise, also, not all the people who I did masters with want to do a doctoral, but then they are working as research associates. And that is also a wonderful work. They enjoy working with different companies, or they have their own developmental projects which they are a part of. So there are avenues. The key is choosing which one suits your personality and how good it is in the sense, is there scope for rise? And yeah, I think that's about it from my side.
Well, okay, it's been a pleasure to listen to you, and you have been so frank and open, telling us all about how you made decisions. And the most important thing I think is for me is that you could recover a lost ground. You didn't even study mathematics in high school, right? And uh,
Yeah.
now you are, I mean, honestly, it's a very tough job to pick up calculus, statistics, econometrics when you don't know anything about even algebra. So it's
Yeah.
a remarkable achievement to really go from zero mathematics to, let us say, 99, if not 100, because there's no way you can get a master's and a PhD in economics unless you are fluent in mathematics. And of course, mathematical statistics and econometrics, you need all of that. That's just basic. It's not something to even discuss. And of course, you also need to learn all the statistical software and all that. So it's quite an achievement from writing poetry to make it this. And I think it's a way, what you are showing is that if you make up your mind and you are passionate about it, you can do it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think,
quite overwhelming. I wouldn't lie. I don't want to give false expectations or ideas to people because I remember the first real analysis class. It was by one of the professors from IIT Palakkad, and he had an online Zoom session during the lockdown. Okay,
yeah,
it was for students where they had to clarify doubts or whatever doubts he had in the
yeah,
sessions. And it was always funny for me because every person used to say, my name is this and this. I am from IIT this, I'm from NIT, I'm from BITS Pilani, BITS Goa, and some other university. And in the end, it was my turn. And he was like, oh, you're a part of my course. How does it feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he used to always wonder what I'm doing. So in the beginning, I used to struggle a lot because they were the first ones to reply. Oh, professor, you missed that. Professor, I think we need to discuss this. And I was like, let me first understand what he's trying to tell me.
Okay. So, but what part of mathematics did you like or found the easiest? Which, if you think back and say, look, I could get this very easily, but this was very hard for me. Is there
I
any
think
such thing?
for me, I think calculus, and from the basics to the advanced one, that was I found the easiest.
Okay.
And linear algebra, I found that I was using wrong resource. In a sense, I made it very boring. So I had to change some of my references
Yeah.
and my approach from the end. Then it was fun.
Okay.
But the most fun I had was actually real analysis because it was very creative and it was a lot of discussion with my peers too. So it was fun. We used to discuss, oh, this is where I'm missing, or this is what is lacking.
Yeah.
So I think I enjoyed studying real analysis a lot.
Okay. You really enjoyed real analysis.
Yes. I still do that in my free time, I just
Okay.
pick up one of the book and let's do some Walter Rodin exercise.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's end it here. Maybe we come back to you in a year or so when you have got some more ideas about where you are going with it. Till then, let's say bye to the viewers, and I'll be back with another young person soon or with an expert. Till then, bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.